Welcome to Finding the Voices. I am Monica Ingatam.
Today, we have Ed Armstrong joining in from the United States. Ed Armstrong is a partner at Hun-Tre Adventures, a tour company and offering package for travel to the birthplace of Polo in Manipur. I was very excited to read about Ed Armstrong and his association with Manipur, his involvement and work with the game of polo, and also his initiative of expanding and offering to other people to travel with the team of polo player and get a glimpse of the life in Manipur. So today he'll be sharing about his work and experience during his stay in Manipur.
Hello.
Hi, Monica.
First of all, I want to thank you and welcome you to our show. And I actually got very excited when I, read and came to know about the tour and travel in Manipur, and I wanted to invite you and share about what you do, your connection with Manipur, and your experience. So to start with, if you can give us a brief introduction about yourself and your work and what you do.
Okay, I started playing polo in my early 30s and read a lot about polo at the time. It was before the internet, so you had to do research in the library and places like that about the sport. So I learned very early on about Manipur being the place where the English saw the Indians playing polo and thought it was an interesting game, and they adopted it as their own and brought it back to England and eventually the rest of the world. So I knew a little bit about Manipur from the very beginning. My involvement with it came about when I was working with the United States Polo Association as the director of clubs and tournaments, when I was approached by a gentleman from Manipur named Somi Roy, who was involved in trying to save the Manipur pony from being extinct. So he visited the International Museum of the Horse in Lexington, Kentucky, and had had arranged with the governor of Manipur to make a gift of some traditional polo equipment. And he asked me if I would be interested in sending a team to their international event. And it sounded interesting to me, so I talked to others in the association to see what their feeling was, and they thought it was a good idea, as did I, and we found the funding, and we were able to send a team first in 2013. And from there, we sent another team in 2014, another team in 2015, when we actually won the tournament this past November.
Okay. So you have been going to Manipur from 2013 almost every year.
Right. Yep.
And how many people have you taken, like, for each of the team? I guess if you can share a little bit on your.
Yeah, on the tour side. On the tour side, it's been very minimal at this point. We're hoping that it's a long-term thing. I had one gentleman come in November of 2014, and we've got some people coming this January. But it's been very slow to catch on, but we're going to keep trying. In this women's tournament that's going on this month is hopefully going to attract more people to come to Manipur and see how wonderful it is.
So initially, like when you started way back in 2012, you were taking only the polo players, and now you have expanded it to include people who would be interested, to travel and see the place of Manipur and also know the history. Okay, so is it only this year that you have expanded to the public?
Well, in 2014, we started to offer it to just anybody that wants to come, and it's been slow, as I say, to start, but we're offering it in January. We're going to offer another trip in November of this year, and again next January, and try to make it an annual thing where we go a couple of times, and we offer it to anyone who wants to go.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I guess it's slow because not many people know about the offering.
Right.
And even I myself, like when I read about it, like I just came to know about it, early this January, and I was very excited about it. So I thought this would be also a good platform to share and talk about it and let people know that, there is an opportunity offered by your company where people can come and travel and visit Manipur too.
Right. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this women's tournament, which is planned this month. I was very excited. Is this the first women polo tournament?
No, it's not the first women's polo tournament. The women of Manipur comprise 4 teams, and they typically play a Governor's Cup alongside the men's Governor's Cup. And I happened to be there in January of 2014 and was chatting with the women who run the polo for women, and said to them, what do you think if I was able to get some American players to come over, American women players? And she was delighted at the prospect of that. So that's where the idea started. And my guest, Steve Armour, who was with me on the tour in November 2014, expanded on that idea and started to make it happen within the U.S. Polo Association. And so the concept there is these women from the U.S. are very talented, very strong players. So the idea is to not have an American team against the Manipuri teams, but rather have one player on each of the 4 teams to help move the ball along and help teach and instruct the Manipuri women on how to play better and to make it a fun event.
Okay, so this is not like a match, but like you said, it's a learning kind of project wherein both the teams are going to play together, and it's like a fun event. Right.
I'm sure the girls are still going to want to win the tournament, so they will be real. They will be real matches. But no, the focus is on helping the women of Manipur to improve their play and to raise the level of awareness of women's polo and polo in Manipur.
Okay, got it. Okay. Yeah. So what has been your experience, going for this many years in Manipur? What are the challenges? Let's talk firstly about the challenge, and then we'll come to the fun and interesting fact.
When people think about India, they think about New Delhi and Agra and places that they're familiar with. And at this point, Manipur is still a bit mysterious to them because there's not a lot of mainline media that comes out about some of the smaller states. And so the challenge is for us to make people aware of that. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm trying to lay the groundwork so that in the future, people will travel to Manipur and will find it an interesting and delightful place. So that's the biggest challenge, and is putting the focus on Manipur rather than just mixing it in with the rest of India. And polo has been a good venue because I've been involved in polo for a long time, but there's so much else in Manipur that we want to explore. The other sports that are made. We understand that Manipur is the state where the only Olympic medalist has come from. And, sports is very important in Manipur. So we're thinking about ways to interest other people to come to the state.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for highlighting that. And the very fact that, you mentioned about the media coverage being less and people all over the world not knowing so much about Manipur. Finding the Voices, this platform is also one of a small effort, from my side to get people who are working and let people know that these are the activities happening, and also kind of create more footage in the internet world. And, we really appreciate you and other people who are working on this. Besides that challenge, like when you go in Manipur, can you share like any experience what you have, which you feel that, could be improved to ease your experience in Manipur?
Just very simple things like internet. Would like to see the internet be better there.
Thank you for telling that, because, my show, I find it very difficult to get people in Manipur in my show just because of the internet connectivity, like you and me. Like right now, we just got in the internet and connected and we are having a video chat. So yes, right. I definitely agree on that.
Yeah, that could be improved. There's not a lot. The things that are different about it are the things that make it a charming place, like the friendly people and the way people just go on with their lives. And we visit the women's market, and it's a friendly place. People want to sell things, but they're not aggressive like they are in New Delhi, and we like that. There's more things I like about it than there are that I don't like.
That's excellent. You must have heard the recent earthquake affected the women's market, the Ema market, and so this time when you travel, it would be a very different scenario and scenes where everybody is being displaced, and there are temporary arrangements where the women folks can sell things and continue on with their lives. So any comments on that?
No, we're hopeful that they get that going, because that's a high spot on our tour, to go in there and just meet with all the women and see the wonderful things they have for sale, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm hoping we can find a way to still do that.
Okay. Yeah. Very interesting on your comment that the people in Manipur are not as aggressive. They are more simple and they're selling it, but not as aggressive like in Delhi, where people are just after you and bargaining and all that. Is that
right? That's true. And in Delhi, an American stands out. Like everybody knows you're not from there, so they sort of key in on you and try to sell you things. And
you can share, when you offer the package, a little bit on how our listeners can get an idea of what you offer, how many days, and just brief on, what people can expect if they are interested in the travel package.
What we've offered this time is a 10-day trip. It's actually a little more than 10 days, and it includes everything when you get to New Delhi. It doesn't include the international airfare, and it includes your hotel, your in-country travel. Breakfast is free at the hotel. Transportation to the different events is all included as well. And the best way to get a hold of us is on Facebook, and it's called Ed Armstrong's Hun-Tre Adventures. And Hun-Tre, as you may know, is the word that they chant out when they throw the ball in to begin a polo game, and that's where we got that from. I'm partners with Somi Roy in Manipur on these tours. This tour, we're going from Manipur over to Jaipur for a exhibition game with the women, and 2 women from Manipur are joining us on that trip.
Okay, and I know that with each offer you have, depending on, I guess, the season and time, the pricing may change, but how is the pricing going on right now? How much is the pricing going on?
Right now, for this tour, is $2,400 US.
Oh, it's only $2,400 for the whole 10-day, inclusive of the hotels and everything?
Even the airfare from Delhi to Manipur, yes.
Once you land in Delhi, then the internal airfare and the hotels and the food and arrangement of all the sightseeing.
That's right. That's right.
Got it. Okay. And then the person has to pay for the international leg of the flight. So do you arrange for that, or you kind of?
Yeah, we can arrange for that. And actually, I've made an arrangement with the travel agent that we're partnered with. So in the future, we'll be able to quote the airfare. I'll give you an example. I paid about $800 for my ticket from Boston to Delhi. So that, and I just checked yesterday, and it's down to 600.
Yeah, it's a good time to travel. So besides, the Ema Keithel and the Polo, what other places do you include when you are going around and sightseeing in Manipur?
Well, as I say, the big part of it was the women's market. We'd always visit that at least once. Also, the fort, I think it's Kangla Fort right there in town. There's a Polo shrine that's just a little bit out of town that we visit. It's a shrine to the god of Polo. And we visit the Polo Pony Preserve that's just outside of town, just by the Polo Pony shrine. And we'd also have dinners and have traditional Manipuri food, which is quite different from regular Indian food.
Yeah, so tell me about it. Like, how do you like it? How does people, the polo players and other people you have taken, what is their feedback on that?
They've been very pleased. The hotel is fairly continental, so they can get some different things, but they've all enjoyed trying the food, and luckily nobody has gotten sick yet.
Yeah, that's a big thing, traveling.
We went to a temple and had a traditional lunch of Manipuri food last time we went, and it's very different. It's very hot and spicy, and you eat with your hands, and it's it's not typical American, but that's what makes it interesting.
Right. So did you get to go through all the different items?
I can't remember the names of things, but a lot of different vegetables that we're not even familiar with. And of course, rice, and you use your banana leaf to help you eat. And
yeah.
It's quite interesting.
Okay. All right. So have you tried the other meat and non-vegetarian items available in Manipur?
Yes. We actually went to the captain of the Manipuri Polo team's home, and his wife cooked us a traditional meal with meat, and that was very good. Again, much more spicy than typical Indian food, but very delightful, very interesting.
Okay, so you find the food in Manipur more spicy than other parts in India?
Yeah, I know you can have it spicy anywhere, but it just seemed to me like everything that you have is spicy, and they don't know that Americans are not.
So do you think, like, if the spice level, I think the spice mainly come from the chili,
right,
which we use.
Right.
So if the level of that is tweaked, probably you would enjoy the
I think
food
so.
better.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good feedback. Yeah, even I myself, I mean, having stayed outside of Manipur for a long, long time now, when I go back to my native place, when I get invited to my friends or family's house, I also find that the spice level has spiked up, and, I have to kind of put the water right next to me, like,
right.
keep on drinking and eating and drinking and eating.
Right.
Okay, so that's interesting.
You know what I find works really well is yogurt. If you have some.
Okay. The yogurt. Okay. Also, you have this ongoing relation of traveling back and forth. You can give the feedback and they can tweak the spice level, but at the same time, you can also enjoy the flavors and ethnic way of cooking in Manipur.
Right. That's right. Yeah, we don't like to ask them to change their method because we want it to be authentic,
Right. It's just the chili and spice level.
Right. Right.
So generally, when you and your team goes and come back, what are the most popular item people get back as a memento, from Manipur?
Something from the women's market, some handmade jewelry, or some scarves and things from the other stores. I bring back things for my granddaughter, some things for babies and that sort of stuff, and yeah, just that handmade craft stuff. We went to a craft fair during the festival the last time, and there was a lot of nice products that are all handmade in Manipur that we brought home.
So I did read in your website about your package, including going to Loktak Lake. Can you share your experience about that?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Very big, huge lake, and we had a special luncheon at the restaurant that is overlooking the lake, and then we went down and had a boat ride out around the lake, and it's very peaceful, very nice. You see people fishing in the lake, and people really like that too. It's very scenic, very peaceful there.
Okay, and did you try the boating over there?
Yeah, well, we had
a small, long boat,
No,
which,
we didn't try not the traditional boats, no.
Okay.
They have like tour boats that you can take a ride in.
I see. So you didn't try the, I guess the local boat, which is used by the local ladies and men for fishing.
No, we didn't try that.
Yeah.
We weren't brave enough to try that.
No, I mean, it is scary. I did try it, and I tried with my 5-year-old daughter, and I had to instruct her not to move, and, like we went a little bit because, you could feel the water, and yes.
You don't want to tip over.
Following the polo matches, the international polo event which happened comments on the size of the pony and, from other international players. So can you share a little bit about the experience in terms of playing polo in general in Manipur and the difference, what you see in other places?
Well, obviously the size is much different. These guys and girls are used to playing on much bigger horses. So that takes some getting used to. We have, every trip that we've done, we've had small mallets made to take with us, so we would have good mallets, but they were small enough to be able to be used on the Manipuri horses. They love the horses. They got favorites that they really like to play. They give us plenty of time to try horses, so people do have a chance to get used to it. And the players that I've chosen to come are guys that can ride any horse. They're very adaptable, so they can learn pretty quickly. Most of them have played in high school and college, so that they are used to riding different horses. So, there's a bit of an adjustment, but that's all. Nobody's complained.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. You mentioned about the level of techniques and I guess expertise in playing polo by the local team in Manipur.
Yeah.
So last time the finals was played between USPA and the local team, right? And US won.
That's right.
So, I was following the match very closely, and I was very interested, and I was very happy that, Manipur's team came till the end, and it was like, okay, I'm in US and I'm a native from Manipur, and I'm kind of cheering for both.
Right.
But comparing, seeing from that event, I thought the players were good and in par and, with the international team. But then you also commented about the women's team, to improve their techniques. So I just wanted to get a sense about, your view on the expertise and level of the Manipuri team.
The Manipuri team is by far one of the best teams in the world in terms of that game. This is the first time in 9 tournaments that they've lost. They've won every other time. And so the USA was just a very good team. And actually, it was won in overtime. So it was not an easy win for the USA either. So the men's skill is very proficient at that level. When we first started to talk about how to put a team together to come, we go by goal levels in the rest of the world, and each player is rated and assessed a handicap, but Manipur doesn't do that. So it was very difficult for us to figure out what the goal level should be, and we finally got it right. But they're very proficient. The women, on the other hand, they can ride and they're very good, but they just need some help with organizing their team and improving their skills. But they're fine. But our teams and the women's side are superior to the teams that we have in Manipur. So we thought, to make it fair, to make it fun, we'll split up the players on the different teams, and then everybody can play a little bit faster and learn how to play a little bit better. Okay,
got it. Maybe because the women's team in Manipur hasn't been there for longer than, the men's team, so their practice and, I guess, training may be, lesser than what the men has been used to, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was very excited to know about, women's polo team playing, and, it was very exciting.
Yeah. No, we're looking forward to it. I can't wait. I leave tomorrow.
Right, yeah. Have a safe travel and have fun, and I am going to be following your tours and travel.
All right, very good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.